Hey there, it is Tomster here on the behalf of Indie Structural Productions once again, and we are on the 10th episode of the Scum Build series. Alright, there's still quite a bit to go, so it's going to be interesting to see how many episodes this entire series ends up being. I'm pretty sure it's going to be the longest running series so far, so that's always good, right? Anywho, now, I need to work out a control cavity and also figure out the shape of the control cavity. So to do that, I just have a normal blank A4 piece of paper, and I'm using a pencil or the side of the pencil to kind of mark out where the body is and basically go from there. I would pretty much use the same type of technique. I would use a half cut pencil just because it's easier. But I would pretty much use the same sort of method to if I was making a control cavity plate or a backplate, in other words. I would use this similar method to mark out the cavity. That was a very interesting sentence, I must say. Alright, so I have the edge of the guitar marked out now. I've roughly marked out where the inlay sits. So now it's just a matter of drawing out a design and going from there. First thing I'm doing is roughly marking out how thick I want the walls to be. And then of course I want a straight line. And yeah, the shape kind of designs itself. And of course I tweak it up until I'm fully satisfied with it and take pictures for the client and then modify it according to any wishes. So with my final design done, I cut it out, and then use the super glue and masking tape. Well, technically super glue and just accelerant trick on here. And again, I hate the stupid joke of tracking the super glue bottle, but you know, I've done it so far. I've done it for 10 episodes. I might as well keep on doing it. As annoying as it might be and as tedious as it might be, it's still, I guess, a very silly joke to keep. But yeah, I glue the piece of paper down onto a piece of MDF so that I can make a template for routing out the cavity. I am gonna speed this up quite a bit. I think this is at 500% again. With all of these sped up parts, I always use 500% just because that gets the job done rather quickly. So yeah, I just use a coping saw to cut out that area. It's very tedious. I really don't enjoy working with templates. It's not one of my favorite things to do, but it's something that I've had to do quite a lot. And of course, once the full thing is cut out, then it's time to finesse the shape with rasps and files and so on and so forth, so that all the edges are exactly as I want them to be. Of course, you're aiming to get as square of an edge as you possibly can. But seeing as after this I'm using a bearing cutter, it's gonna make that edge itself as well. I don't know if I explained that properly enough, but I hope you get the idea. Now, on the body, I'm just marking out the absolute minimum I'm willing to go to, or the max I'm willing to go to, so that I don't put the template over and then do something catastrophic. This is somewhere where you don't want to be rushing around. You want to make sure that everything is exactly the way it should be before proceeding to routing out. Because screw up here and you might screw up pretty bad. As simple of a thing as this is, it's something that you don't want to rush. Not that you want to rush any part of guitar building, but you know what I mean. So basically what I'm doing right now is I'm going from one of the laminate neck pieces, because that gives me a straight line to go from, and I'm literally measuring out a set distance. Can't remember what that is for the life of me, but it's basically just to ensure that the straight line for the back plate goes goes parallel or perpendicular to the neck. So that just makes it look a lot nicer. Then it's just a matter of lining everything up. Alright, everything looks good, and time to proceed. Once again, the good old masking tape and super glue trick.
Never fails.
Now, with there being such a thin edge, it's extremely important to burnish everything down properly. And that really does ensure that the template does not move at all when you're routing, because that could be pretty much a disaster if that were to happen. And that wouldn't be good now, would it? And yes, I got comments about using a knife as a burnisher. Yeah, I do realize not the safest thing in the world. If somebody were to bump me, it wouldn't be good. But fortunately, all my coworkers knew that I do this, and were very careful not to bump into me while I was doing it. So, but nonetheless, don't do as I do, do as I say, or something like that. Don't remember how that expression goes. And moving onwards. So now the whole point is to just remove as much excess to make the job a lot easier for your router. Because if you have to get through a lot of wood, even though it is something as soft as Meranti, for example, you're still going to be dulling out your blade or your cutters much faster. And also the process is just going to take a whole lot longer because you had to take small passes. So this is just pure efficiency, using a Forstner bit on a pillar drill. Wow, I'm having a hard time with words today, clearly. And yeah, putting in the guard after drilling the first hole. That's always very important. Remember, kids, stay safe. So that was me just checking that my depth stop was accurate, so that I really can go all the way to the depth that I've set it at. Just basically leaving enough for the edges so that I have a sort of ridge where the backplate is going to sit. And there we are. Moving onwards. So now it's literally just making that small, what did I just call it? Sort of, you know, shelf, so to speak, for the backplate to sit on. So I'm only taking down, the backplate is 4 mil thick, so I'm only taking down 4 mil on the first pass. So then the backplate will sit nice and flush on the back. Now that I have done this, I totally did not forget that I can't go to the full depth with this, so I needed to add some pieces. No, I mean this was designed this way. Yes. No, I did come up with a very clever way of getting places for the screws of the backplate to sit in. So I made these 3 little MDF bits to then apply onto my template. Just a dab of super glue so they come loose when I need them to. A little bit too much super glue on that one. There we are. So now when I follow this new template, I will go to the full depth and have somewhere for my screws to actually sit on. There we go. 2 templates in 1, so to speak. But hey, the video is nearing the end, so I hope you liked the video. If you did, hit that like button. Be sure to smash that little bell button as well. That lets you know when I come out with when I put up new videos. And also YouTube's algorithms really like that stuff. Don't forget to subscribe to see more videos like this and more cool videos coming up. And comment. Yeah, I'll see you guys next week. Bye bye.